Okay, welcome back everyone. So for this example, we're going to investigate how to allocate a string dynamically while the program is running in terms of allocating space in memory for it so you can actually put data at runtime. So first, to do this in C, let's start with a buffer array. Let's say we have an array that can handle 100 characters. Now, for the dynamic aspect of creating another string that will dynamically adapt to a new data, we're going to need a pointer right here. So we have char star str ptr. So this is our pointer of type character. We will see that in a minute how to use it. Let's concentrate on these three lines right here. Okay? All right, so while the program is running, it's going to ask you to enter a word. So we're going to use the gets function, right, based on this array buffer that can handle up to 100 characters. Now, you may enter maybe 4 characters, 10 characters. Now, as long as you don't enter more than 100 characters, you're good to go, right, including the /0, right? Now, what we would like to do is investigate what we just did. So the buffer content. So let's say you said hello world or hi there or person, whatever you type. Then that would appear right here. Okay? So that would be what, so your buffer is the string array, basically. We would like to see what is the size of this object array. So size off buffer, we'd like to see that. And then we would like to see how big of a string is stored within that array. So the difference between size off and strlen will be shown in this example. Okay? On the surface, they might look like they do the same thing, but they don't. This here stops as soon as it encounters /0. Size off doesn't care. Size off is going to be based on the buffer size. So if the buffer size is 100, that's what you would get right here. Array size will be 100. However, if we type, let's say, dude, which has 4 letters, then you will get 4 right here. Okay. Now let's get into the real interesting part. Remember I had a pointer of type character? Good. So what do I want to do with it? Now I want to allocate memory, reserve memory, based on the size of, again, so I'm trimming down, so whatever I typed in buffer, I'm trimming it down to the length of the string stored in buffer. So if I typed in dude, then there are 4 characters, then I am limiting it to 4 characters, then the 5th element will be the /0, automatically entered in there. Well, we're going to prove that. So this malloc, right, will give me or will allocate for me a certain amount of bytes based on the length. So this is an integer value that it needs. It says, how many bytes do you want? Well, I want something that will fit that much. Perfect. So now what else? Well, we're going to go over here and say, so what do you want to do here? Actually, I should have put a +1 here. So this should have been a +1, just in case you wanted to add. So the /n will be in there. Just in case I want to reuse it. Okay, but that's okay. Let's concentrate on what I did here now. Now what I did is I copied whatever is in buffer, right? So we knew that we had some data right here and copied it into this new string with new memory allocated to it based on it. So now let's find out if the length of that one is the same inside without occupying a whole 100 bytes that the buffer array would have had. So this here allows us to trim and use memory appropriately. And then to demonstrate everything, what we did here is I went one character at a time to print what's in it. Now, as long as I didn't encounter, remember we've done this before, right? The /0, right? Which is a control character, keep reading and printing the character. Okay? And now, since we used malloc, where we allocated memory, you need to free it up. Otherwise, you're going to have dangling space occupied. So that's not a good idea. You want to deallocate memory anytime you use malloc. Now, let's see how this works. So let me compile and run. All right. And let's say we enter dude in there, right? So watch what happens. So the buffer content, dude, array size. So it has dude in it, but the array size is 100, right? The length of the string is 4. Sure, it's got 4 characters. Now we copy a copy of this buffer, since we did a copy. It's still dude, and the length is 4. Okay? Now we went one character at a time, and it printed it out for us. Now here's the advantage of something like this as well. So let's say I want to enter more. So let me just run this and say something like hello world. Okay? So now let's see, because we're using the gets function, so we'll take in that little space there. That's very nice. And there you have it. So we have 11 characters, right? And we were able to trim it down to 11 to the new string. And if I went character by character, I was able to print each letter without a problem. Now, let me show you something about free. Let's suppose I freed up, let me just cut it from here, right before I read character by character. Just to show you what happens if you free memory prior to using it, like in here where I am still using that pointer, right? So let's see what happens. Compile and run. And let's just enter hello. Now watch what happens at the end. All right, so everything was fine until you got to the while loop. Then we got garbage. Right, because you don't have, okay, that memory location is deallocated. You no longer have access to the data that was in there. So now all you're reading is garbage. Okay? Good. So let's take it back. Cut. And put it here. And this would be the proper way to run this. So compile and run. Hi there.